We're here with head coach Lawrence Scott and players Ali Shue and Ariana May after Meredith fell in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Coach, we'll just start off with this. What were your overall impressions of the game? It looked like you got down early but fought back, but just Stevenson was a little too much in the end.
Yeah, I think we knew we were bringing a really young squad. We had no senior starters against a squad that had 10 senior starters. So, I mean, I think the jitters of just being young certainly took place, and I think once we were able to settle in, our mistakes started to mount, but we didn't stop fighting, and that's what makes me the most proud.
Yeah, and then you mentioned the younger teams. Certainly the NCAA tournament is nothing new to your squad. I believe it's 8 years in a row now you've won the USA South, but maybe a little bit different this year. You mentioned, how exciting is it to return a large portion of the players from this year's team to the coming season? How do you think that'll help you build the program or continue to build the program?
Yeah, for sure. With anything, you need a foundation. And so having this be our foundation, having the opportunity to be here and to perform on the biggest stage in our sport, that can certainly be nerve-wracking for anybody, especially a young class. And then coming out of COVID, a lot of this was new. Also coming from an area where lacrosse is not super traditional down by where we are, it's a lot different. So overall, I think there's a lot of good things that we're going to take from this moment, and if nothing else, I think it gave them the itch and the desire to succeed as we continue to move forward.
Yeah, and we'll open this up to the players. What was the experience like for you getting to be back in the NCAA tournament?
For me, my second time of returning, I wasn't as nervous, and I definitely really wanted it, and I think it was a good eye-opener for the rest of the team. Since we're all so young, we know what is expected and how to move on for the future of next year and when we return next year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Ari said. It's our team's expectation that we make it to this tournament, and that's what we work towards all season. When it's 30 degrees in January till when it's 80 degrees in April. But I'm super excited now that since we are a young team, that everyone will have that drive and that want to get back here next year.
Yeah, and then you talked about next year, kind of what are the things you think you need to work on in the next coming years to build and be advancing beyond the first round? Something you've done, but looking towards next year.
I think it's confidence. I think since we were so young this year, now everyone, all the younger people, Allie's gonna be a senior next year, I'm gonna be a junior, so everyone's gonna have experience from this past season. So going into this next year game with confidence, I feel like we're gonna dominate the first quarter and then be fine throughout the rest.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we also need to focus on second chances, like we talked about in our huddle after the game, where we need to capitalize on those things to get us those extra possessions to get us a chance.
Yeah, and then last question here. You mentioned the conference championship was your goal, but obviously not something you want to take for granted by any means. Just looking back on the season, it might be a little quick, but are there any memorable moments that really stick out to you that made this team special? And that could be for any one of you three.
Sure. I talked to the team at the end about how the journey is really where the memories are made. And, just seeing even a freshman who got in the game today and got some burn come full circle in being completely inexperienced and wide-eyed as a freshman coming in January and getting out here today, having to take the draw in some big moments, score goals. So seeing the development of some of these players is really exciting for me, and seeing what was once a weakness turn into something that's strong and something that gives them confidence has been my joy.
My favorite memories are probably just everyone smiling after they do something really well. I just love seeing people love the game and just that feeling of happiness. Hey, I got your back. It's just so fun. It's a great bond, and I feel like we all support each other so well.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite moments from this past season was we had a couple games where the defense really just clicked and we literally moved as one, and those moments are they feel so good and you feel you're unstoppable. And so taking those little moments that came this season and focusing on, since we are returning a lot of almost all of our defense, focusing on those aha moments and really focusing on them.
Well, thank you, and
Thank you.
congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.